All right, guys, welcome to the Outdoor Genetics Podcast. My name is John. I'll be your host for the evening. I say the evening, morning, noon, whatever time of day you're listening to this. I'm recording this, and it's 10:44 at night, and I've got to get up first thing tomorrow morning. And, I'll give you some more detail about that here in a minute because it's a part of what our podcast today is about. First off, for those of you that's never joined us on our podcast before, thank you for listening, and we hope you enjoy. And if you haven't already, please make sure to hit that subscribe button, turn on that bell notification so you'll be notified whenever we upload more content. We certainly hope you enjoy this content. For those of you that have been following us all along, whether you have only been following us for a few episodes or you've been following us since we were JMTK Outdoors, thank you for your love and support, and we greatly appreciate it. All right, guys. So, real quick, let me give a shout out to our sponsor, Chum Bums. Outdoor Genetics is proudly sponsored by Chum Bums, and Chum Bums is a standalone social media platform that, quite frankly, you're not going to have to worry about a lot of the drama that comes with other free sites that, we all use and know. There's a lot of drama that comes on those, whether it be from people, third-party advertisements, or censorships, or, cancel culture. On Chum Bums, you ain't got to worry about all that, guys. Imagine a community of people that love the outdoors, whether it's hunting, fishing, kayaking, foraging for your food, gardening, whatever it is that you're into. I can't even tell you all the topics because I would have to literally go and read them all, and I don't want to take up that much of your time. But you need to go check out Chum Bums. With a small membership fee, you get access to their entire platform, and I'm telling you, it is so worth it, guys. Go check them out. CHUMBUMZ, Chum Bums. I will make sure to leave their name down in the description below. All right, guys. So, it's turkey season right now, and we're actually coming up to the end of turkey season. And for those of you that don't know, I am a turkey fanatic. I love the turkey. I love the wild turkey. The Oklahoma Rio, all the turkey species, subspecies, I guess I should say, are, to me, absolutely beautiful. The sounds that they make, just, oh my goodness, it's music to my ears. To see one, whether I'm driving down the road, whether I'm deer hunting, coyote hunting, turkey hunting, fishing, I don't care, whatever I'm doing, when I see one, I literally stop and gawk at these animals because, to me, they're so beautiful. Call me crazy. I could never deer hunt again. I could never fish again. But if the only thing I could ever do is turkey hunt, I would be a happy guy. I love the wild turkey. And let me tell you what, this year has been the most trying year that I've ever had turkey hunting. Oh my goodness. For one, our season got pushed out 2 weeks later than the normal start date. So like our normal start date, it put us in like the middle to like late early season. And when I say season, I don't mean like the actual hunting season. I mean like when they start breeding. Whenever they start breeding, it used to be our season fell right towards the middle to the end of when they first started breeding. And now our season starts, it's actually 2 weeks later. So we're actually closer to like mid to late season when we get started. And around here, that makes it really hard for hunters like me that love early season, because early season, right after turkey season opened up like last year and years prior, I'm an early season hunter. I love chasing them hot and aggressive birds. Oh man, there's nothing more exciting to me than getting out there early season, hearing those birds gobbling their heads off. They ain't got lock lip yet. They're still active, and the moment they come off the roost, it's a run and gun, and it's all go and no slow. I love that time of year when it comes to turkey hunting. But when we start getting into these later seasons, for me and my style of hunting, I really have to think about what I'm going to do. I really have to think about what's going to change because everything changes. You got birds now that are locked up with hens, and you want to give them a few hours to get off the hens. So instead of being out there at first light, you're out there at like 9, 10 o'clock, and you're waiting till about 11 to hopefully be able to call one off of the hens that they're getting bored with. And at that time, you're also having to fight with the incredible wind that we've had here in southern Oklahoma this entire spring season. We have had literally, I think, 2, maybe 3 days where the wind was under 17 to 20 miles an hour. And unfortunately, 2 of those 3 days, I was at work. And we run into a few other problems, when you're starting to hunt late season. For me, I'm a field hunter. I don't mind hunting brush. I don't mind hunting thick cover, but I love field hunting, and I'm not against anybody that wants to hunt in the brush. That's perfectly fine, and that's great. But I'm a field hunter. There's something about watching those birds work in across a field, work in down a tree line that's butted up right next to a beautiful bright green wheat pasture that I absolutely love. And with it being late season, well, of course, all the wheat now is, comes up to my waist. And I'm not saying turkeys won't use that area, but it has been, from my experience, it is definitely harder to call one in when the wheat gets that tall. It seems like they are more apt to shut down and not come in because they don't want to go through that tall of wheat, tall of grass or anything. Not saying they won't, but that just seems to be my experience. And so this year, turkey season has kicked my butt. We saw a bird preseason that I've had my sights on. I just knew I was going to be able to harvest. I knew where he was at. I knew where he was roosting. I knew where he was going. And I did not get to hunt the first or second day. I got to hunt the third day, and I was not successful on the third day. But, well, let me rephrase that. I was not able to harvest a turkey on the third day. I did harvest a couple of pigs. Turkey hunt quickly turned into a pig hunt. And then the next day, I ended up shooting 2 more pigs. And then the day after that, I went to work and went back out after I got done with work that one day and ended up shooting another hog, and then ended up shooting a couple more hogs 3 days after that. So, and between that and the coyotes, I've seen a lot of coyotes. We're actually about to start picking up on the coyote hunting. I'm really looking forward to that. It's going to be a great coyote year. Too many dogs. There are too many coyotes running around right now in our area, which I personally believe to be one part of the problem with the turkey decline. So, anyways, this has been a hard year for me with the wind, fighting now the tall wheat. Of course, being picky because I know where this one bird is at, and I want this one bird. But, by the time 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock hits, when I want to be out there chasing this bird, it's so windy that I don't know that he can hear me. I know I can't hear him gobble. It's been so windy this season. Every single day that I've had the opportunity to go hunting, it's mind-blowing. This has been the hardest season, on top of the fact that, I did get to turkey hunt some of this ground last season, but before that, I didn't even know this property existed. So that I'm still green on this property. I definitely need to do more scouting and, obviously preseason. Definitely going to be doing a lot of scouting this upcoming summer and fall and winter to see what these birds are doing. But it's been, oh my goodness, so incredibly tricky for me. I have passed up a bearded hen, which, don't get me wrong, I would love to take a bearded hen, but in a state of decline, I'm not willing to shoot a hen. I did pass up. He was older than a Jake, younger than a full blown mature Tom. I personally like to shoot mature toms, just for the fact that I get more meat. So I'm not criticizing anybody that likes shooting jakes, or if you're okay with shooting jakes, that's great. That's fine by me. Send me the picture. I'll post it to our Facebook and to our Chum Bums, and I'll even give you a shout out on our YouTube channel if you'd like. I don't have a problem with that at all. Just for me personally, I like being able to take home more meat, and you get more meat off of older, bigger birds. But anyways, so it's been a really rough year for me, and I'm not going to lie, with the wind, I have pretty much, I mean, like literally, guys, we've had like maybe, like I said, 3 days maybe where it's not been super windy, and I've had to work 2 of the 3 days where it's been below 17 to 20 miles an hour. It's been crazy. The winds, oh my gosh, I've never seen a turkey season this windy. We usually get some sort of a break, but not this year, not so far. And I've had friends that are successful this year. I've seen a lot of people getting to shoot their birds here in southern Oklahoma, and I'm so excited for those people, but there's also a part of me that is super jealous. Me being the turkey nut that I am, I do get a little jealous when I don't get to shoot that bird, but that is certainly okay. There's always next year. All right, so since it has been such a rough season and we're actually coming up on the last week, we're actually in the last week of turkey season now. I've been watching multiple different weather apps, multiple different weather stations, and all of them are saying the same thing. It ain't going to be pretty this year. For me, it's hard to call in a turkey that you can't hear or they can't hear you. And so instead of putting more pressure on the birds, instead of going out there and putting my presence out there and potentially spooking or educating these birds anymore, I have decided to fall out of the turkey season this year. That is a very hard call for me because we have less than a week. We actually only have, as of tomorrow, we'll have 5 days left. So that's going to make it really hard. Oh, excuse me. No, I just looked at my computer where it says today's the 11th. So we'll have 4 days left. And surprisingly, I'm not going to be going turkey hunting. And that's a hard call for me to make. But where one season ends, there's always something else to do. And let me tell you, it is now for us time to be sawguy fishing. Just a few days ago, we went out and we tried to get on the sawguy. We ended up catching one sawguy, several hybrids, some sand bass, a couple catfish, and then, it was a good trip. I went out with a buddy of mine. I actually work with the guy. I've known him for years, but I actually work with the guy. His name's Tuck, or I call him Tuck, Kyle Tucker. Awesome guy. I've known him for a long time, and now I work with him. And now that I work with him, him and I, we get to talking a lot about, hunting and fishing. And, he was like, well, man, I'm going to go, I'm going to go on this day. You want to go? Well, yeah, I'm going to go. Yeah, sure, I'll go with you. Heck yeah, And, so that's just kind of how it started. And of course, talking about coyote hunting, he's actually going to be one that goes with me, hopefully goes with me quite often when we go. But, he had come up to me and said, John, it's time for us to start chasing the sawguy. So, like I said, we went out there and we caught the one sawguy, several hybrids, several sand bass, and so on and so forth. And then the other day at work, he said, John, he goes, I've been looking at some reports and some other things. He goes, I think we need to go over to this lake. And he said, you want to go? He goes, I'm going to go. I said, yeah, I'll go with you. So the night before, I'm actually getting ready for bed. And this guy messages me and says, change your plans. We're not going to that lake. We're going to this lake. I'm like, you know what, man, it's your boat. You're just allowing me to tag along for the ride. Absolutely. I will go wherever you want to go. We will catch fish wherever you want to go catch fish. He's like, well, that's where I want to go. So I got there. Actually, now This was actually this morning, the morning of the 11th. And we get out there to the lake, and and I'm sure some of them are carp, some of them are sand bass. I know for sure one of them was a largemouth bass, but there at the boat ramp, there was fish jumping all over the place. And the moment we got in, Fish Finder started lighting up. I mean, just fish everywhere. We ended up making some trolls and cutting around, and we were marking fish left and right. And then all of a sudden, it is on. We start getting hit after hit after hit after hit. Yeah, I mean, we ended up catching one largemouth bass, a couple of catfish, some sand bass, but almost every single thing that we caught, the majority, I should say, was all saugeye, which was our target species, which is what we were going after. On here right now, I am not willing to give out his secrets or his location. So I can't tell you what we were using for bait. Then that's just out of sheer respect for him, because he does love to go do this, and I would hate to potentially ruin one of his good spots. But anyways, so he is such an awesome guy. We got out there. Every time I hooked a fish, it was hooping and hollering, and yeah, get it, And at one point, I was actually reeling in a saugeye, and he was a keeper. He was a good saugeye. I think we ended up measuring him. He was like 17 and a half inches, somewhere around there. And legal size limit here is, at the lake that we were fishing, is 14 inches. That might actually be the state limit. I can't remember. Anyways, but that lake's limit is 14 inches. And like I said, that fish was 17 and a half inches. About that time, I look up, and I see the pole right beside me just bearing down. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's a fish. So I reach up, because he's tending to some of the other rods. I reach up, and I grab it to set the hook. And it's just heavy, just pulling down. And I was like, oh, we're hung up. It's ripping a little bit of drag out, but we're trolling forward. So I figured, yeah, we're hung up. So it felt like it kind of came loose a little bit. So I put it back up in the rod holder, and I keep fighting this fish over here that I've already got on this other rod. And I look over, and that thing is bearing down again. Boom! I set the hook again, and I hold it up, and Tuck goes, I think you're snagged. And I said, I think so too. And I held it up for just a second longer, and I felt boop, 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 just a good 3 or 4 pulls on the tip of that. And I was like, no, that's a fish. So I say, reel this in. And I'm letting him reel it in, because I'm still messing with this other fish over here. And this all happened within just a few seconds of each other, And I get this fish caught in the net. And I look over, and Tuck's eyes are the size of baseballs. He is reeling in this fish. He's like, dude, this is a big one. Big, big, big fish. Of course, I've got my fish now. I've got him unhooked in the live well, and I've got that dip net ready to go. Tuck's not horsing this fish in. Tuck knows what he's doing. I mean, this guy is an awesome fisherman. Of course, knowing him for a long time, being a good friend of his, I kind of goose him from time to time, but I got to give the guy credit where credit is due. This guy knows what he's doing. He's not horsing the fish in. He's playing it just right, how it should be. Everything is going good. We are both freaking out because, you can tell this is a tank of a fish, and the way it's fighting, the way it's acting, it is acting like a saugeye. And, of course, him and I, we're dang near beside ourselves. We can't believe what he's reeling in, because judging by me looking at the bend of the rod, the drag being pulled, and when the fish starts shaking his head, doing the little famous saugeye head jerk, watching that tip of that pole, hit like that, I would almost put money. No, I'm not going to say I would put money on that being just a saugeye. And it was a heartbreaker. We were just about to the point to where we were going to start seeing color. We could see the leader, and was just right there. You could see the very tip of the leader getting ready to come up. And right before you could start seeing color, boof, he just spit the hook out like it was no big deal. And it was truly, truly a heartbreaker. Something enough to make you sick. I'm going to tell you what, Tuck catches more fish than probably anybody I know. Next to, like, I'm going to say like a guide service, somebody that's going out every single day and they guide for a living. Okay, so next to those people, to the average fisherman, you and me, right? He catches more fish than anybody I've ever met. You better believe rain, sleet, hail, high water, snow, 110 degrees or minus 10 degrees, this dude is fishing. And he's catching fish. That's the thing. He's not just fishing. I don't think he goes fishing. He just goes catching. You know what I mean? I mean, that's just kind of how he's one of those guys. He's one of those guys that's annoying to go with because he's going to catch all the fish, and you're going to stand there and look dumb. Yeah, that's kind of how it is going with Tuck. You know. But when that fish spit the hook out, you could see it written all over his face, and I'm sure you could on my face as well. I mean, it was just that moment of, oh, no, like you almost didn't want to believe it, and you just wanted to try to reset the hook again. Like, oh my gosh, like you just lost this fish that, I mean, in all honesty, I mean, talking with Tuck about it, seeing how these 2 and 3 and 4 pounders were bending over the rod, and then watching that one, the way it was bending the rod and listening to the drag and everything. I mean, I'd be willing to put money on that being, a 8 to 10 pound saugeye, which here in Oklahoma, I believe the state record saugeye has a 19-inch girth and is right at 10 pounds even, I believe. That's a big saugeye. And I'm telling y'all, I think we had pretty close to a record. It was for sure a lake record I would put money on. But, I think we potentially had a record on the line that day. Or today, I should say, earlier today, and it came off. It was so heartbreaking. So, of course, we're talking about different parts of the lake. Well, and me, I never actually, quote unquote, boated that lake. We always took the canoe out there to get up into the sloughs. But, it's like, well, Tuck, there's this area over here. And Tuck would be like, well, there's that area over there. And then, boom, we'd get another bite and start reeling in fish. So it turns into one of those things, you don't leave fish to find fish, especially when those fish are biting. It's one thing to leave fish that aren't doing nothing with your bait. But when you find fish that are willing to bite, you stay. We ended up catching around 20 saugeye. Out of 20, we had 11 keepers. We had a couple that were pretty close to keeping size. They probably would have tipped it, by a quarter inch or so. But at that point, we were just like, you know what, let's just toss these back, give them an opportunity to grow, and we'll catch them again next year, whatever. So we ended up keeping 11, and then also one stud crappie. Anyways, so, we're getting ready to call it a day, and I said, man, what are you doing tomorrow? And he goes, well, I think I'm going to take my boat in to get it detailed. He's like, I got a guy up in the city that is going to detail it for me. I was like, all right, man. Sounds good. And I was like, well, in that case, hey, I'll see you Friday at work. He said, yes, sir, we'll see you Friday. Well, I'm on my way home, and I'm talking to co-host Tim and Dustin. And I'm talking to them, and I was like, yeah, he's going to have his boat detailed. I was like, there's a part of me that thinks he might call the boat detailer and be like, hey, look, the fishing's too good right now. I got to go fishing tomorrow. And I told him that. I told both of my buddies that, and I was like, I don't know if he will or not, but that's kind of how I feel. And it wasn't 5 minutes after I told them that, Tuck called me and said, okay, dude, let's go fishing tomorrow. I said, all right, I'll meet you out there at 6 o'clock, So once again, we will be headed out tomorrow morning to go chase these sawguy. For those of you that's never seen a sawguy, then they're a pretty neat looking fish. For here in Oklahoma, in my opinion, we really, in my opinion, only have like, I'm going to say 3 fish species that just really catch my eye just because it's different. It's not something you see a lot of. And out of those 3, only 2 of them you can catch on a hook. And the other one is tiny, little bitty thing. You might could catch it on a hook if you used a small enough hook, I guess. But and sawguy is definitely one of those fish. Very neat looking fish. You don't lip them. You don't lip them like a bass. For those of you that don't know, they do have teeth, and legit teeth. Like legitimately, they have teeth. So don't lip them. And on top of their gills, they have almost a razor. I mean, it's like a razor blade. It's super sharp. But when you hear people talking about cheeks and wings off of a sawguy or walleye, the cheeks right there where that cheek meat is, there's like a razor blade right there. I kid you not, it is like a razor blade. But I'm telling you what, that meat is so good. It's so clean, and I think that's another reason why I like the sawguy so much, is because that meat is absolutely delicious. I'll fry up catfish, I'll fry up bass, I'll fry up crappie. I just about any fish I'm not afraid to fry up. But I gotta say, this sawguy is so good. I'm gonna tell you what, it makes the best tacos. It makes the best just straight fillets. Bake them, blacken them, roast them, whatever. But I'm telling you, if you do it fried, you're missing out, because it is so much better when it's not fried. Now, I'm not bashing fried fish. If you like to fry your fish, then you do you. It was funny because I was cleaning the last one earlier today, and Tuck had called me again, and I was sitting there with Michelle. She was watching me clean these fish, and I said, "Hey, watch this. I'm about to tell Tuck that we're gonna deep fry these puppies." So sure enough, I get on the phone with Tuck, and I said, "Hey, bud, yeah, we're about to fry some of these up." And he was like, He goes, "You're about to break my heart." And of course, I was totally just joking with him. Michelle got a good kick out of it, and it was pretty funny. But definitely, if you've never caught sawguy, then you need to do some research, especially for your area. Do some research, figure out where they're at, figure out what method is going to work best for you, because there's different ways of doing it. There's different ways of using live bait. There's different ways of using crankbaits, all sorts of different stuff. So you just need to check out and see what works best for you. Anyways, well, guys, we are coming up close to the 30-minute mark, and I think this has been a good enough podcast, just talking a little bit about fishing, how today went. And I'm telling you, I'm expecting tomorrow to go just as good, except for the fact that Tuck's dad is actually going out with us, so we're going to have to stay out there a little bit longer and catch some more fish. We went home today with only one shy of our 2-man limit, so that was a pretty good day. But anyways, guys, that's how our day went. That's what I'm expecting tomorrow to be like. I'm expecting it to be an awesome day of fishing. And you know what? Even a terrible day of fishing is better than a great day at work. Unless your work is fishing. In that case, I hope you have nothing but great days. But anyways, well, guys, I hope everybody has a great morning, night, or noon, whatever time you're listening to this podcast. And hopefully we'll be seeing y'all soon, guys. Please be sure to go hit that bell notification, hit the subscribe button. That way you'll be informed when we upload more content. Guys, like I said earlier, if you would like to have some, or if you have some questions, or if you would like to see some topics brought up on our podcast, then please be sure to let us know in the comments down below or reach out to us directly. All right, guys, we'll be seeing you all in the next one. We'll see y'all soon.